So today, what is we are gonna discuss about? First thing, we'll deploy another application, which is a microservice-based application. Based application, and we'll monitor this application using Dynatrace, and then we'll enable a RUM also for both the application that yesterday we have configured and today we are gonna deploy. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So the application we are using, let me know once it is visible, which is EG Trade. So GitHub EG Trade. So this is the application. Okay. So what I can do is let me log into. Let me create one more VM. So I am taking T2 large. Why? Because it has a multiple service, so it will not accept, including your database. So it will not accept your two virtual CPU and 4 GB of RAM. So now I can go to my instance. One second. SSH and user. Okay, let me update the binary. Yum install git. I can clone this URL. Git clone. Oh, Okay, so this is this application, right? If you see this GitHub page running on Docker container and using Docker Compose. So we have multiple service. Okay, so we need to install Docker and then we need to install Docker Compose plugin. Okay, so yum install Docker.
So Ravi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So Ravi, this Docker, like in real time, are we gonna use something like this when in Dynatrace as a Dynatrace engineer? Like
See,
setting up this Docker and on top of it, are you gonna install like that's like microservices or something?
see, in the real time in the organization, your application will be getting deployed by application team. But nowadays, coming to the SRE model, right? All the peoples are going with the SRE engineers, right?
Yes.
So sometimes you are hosting your application also, you have to do that. Suppose it is a fresh VM, fresh application that was developed, and now you need to host the VM. So you need to understand that, right? Either it can
Yes.
be, if it's a small application, maybe sometimes will run on the Docker, yeah, Podman, right? That's the two containers we have, right? So we have a Docker container, yeah, Podman. So you have to that you know that, right, how it can be installed on how the application will be hosted on the Docker container, right? If you are going with this normal Dynatrace consultant or something, you will not get charged to install Docker container or Docker compose. Already it will be installed. Just you have to call that function. That's it.
Okay. So you are showing in SRE perspective, which is
Yeah,
that that
yeah.
is good. Yeah, thank you for. I mean, I was like understanding. So as an SRE engineer, we have to SRE a role. Definitely,
Because
we have to.
whenever you'll go for an interview for SRE level, okay, people will ask you on the Docker, people will ask you on the Docker Compose, people will ask you on the Docker file. Okay, these are the things they will ask you. Okay, so that is the
Okay.
reason. At least you'll have little bit idea how the Docker Compose, all those things. So when I'll explain that Kubernetes part, that time I'll explain you the Docker architecture, the component, commands, and then Kubernetes commands, all those things in the little detailed way. Okay.
Oh, okay. I mean, glad you're like covering the SRE. I think because this is mostly like we are seeing SRE roles more than the Dynatrace roles when we are
Yeah.
like trying to work.
And
So,
most of the organization they are following with SRE concept. Okay. You should know a little bit on the container side, microservice, all the application deployment, DevOps pipeline, automation, then observability, everything.
got
Okay.
it.
So now
Thank
what I can do is, so you see here, right? So I have installed Docker. So first, once you install Docker, right, you have to enable that. Okay. So systemctl enable Docker. Okay. So once you enable that Docker, right, the one symlink will get created. You see that? Then you need to start the Docker to type Docker, yeah, Docker service dot service. It will find you. Check the status. My Docker is running. So my Docker is active now. Now you have to install Docker plugin, okay, which is called Docker Compose plugin because Compose is so there is a two things, okay. In Docker, when you are deploying application, so there will be a Docker file, okay, Docker file, and then you build the image, okay, build the image, okay. So each service, suppose we have 10 service, there will be a 10 Docker file, okay, and then you build the image. and combined all the service. This is your login service, this is your booking service, all the microservice you combine with one sort, which is called Docker Compose. Okay, so we have, sometimes you might have see Docker hyphen compose. During the interview they used to call, yeah, Docker Compose, a space Docker Compose. If you see here, if you see here, let me, where it is. If you see here, we are calling Docker Compose. I can also try Docker hyphen compose. So there is a plugin difference. There is a V1 plugin and there is a V2 plugin. Okay. If you go with the V1 plugin, okay, then you can go with Docker hyphen compose. If you go to the V2 plugin something, you can go with the Docker. You see here, Docker hyphen compose, right? So you can try both the way. Okay, so there is a plugin difference we have. So sometimes you can see in your Docker compose command, Docker hyphen compose up hyphen d in the retest mode. Yeah, you can see Docker compose up, something like that. Okay, so let me install this Docker compose plugin. Okay, so either you can directly use yum install Docker hyphen compose plugin. Yeah, I have a script. Okay, so let me see this. And Docker Compose always runs with some of the users. Okay, so let's see. Docker Compose will not work with the root user. So let me create one user which is called ec2-user and run this. I'll send you the commands. Okay, Python lib. Open, save the object file. 1 second. Loading Python lib directory. 1 second. Let me try with this. Just a minute. We have all the steps. Okay. What is the issue we have? Python lib. Let me run this. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. So now we have, let me provide a permission. Sorry. Okay, now you try Docker Compose. So we have Docker Compose version. Okay, because OS to OS it will get changed. I can export the path to different directory. Okay, so now if I call docker hyphen hyphen version, docker hyphen compose version, if you type, you see I am getting that. Okay, so now I have my easy trade application, right? What I can do is, so I will go to my this and docker hyphen compose up hyphen d. That's it. I will go to my this cd easy trade ls. You see there is a docker compose file, compose.yaml file. In the source directory, if you go, there will be all the service cd src. Just I'm showing that ls. You see we have account service, broker service, content, db, feature, front end, login, offer, all the service we have. You combined all the service and we have a compose file. Okay. So if you go back here and cat compose.yaml, if you see all the service are getting called. Okay, so this compose file will be given by developed by sometimes DevOps team, sometimes application team, depend on that organization to organization. Okay, sometimes in the application SRE itself. Okay, so now what I will do, so I will run this Docker compose. Okay, okay, docker hyphen compose. So now see I am trying with docker hyphen compose, but in the document we have docker compose. You see this in the GitHub document. So there's a difference between v1 plugin and v2 plugin. Okay, so we can use any one. Okay, depend on that which plugin you have installed for docker compose. So you see, so they are retrieving all the services. You see, broker service, RabbitMQ, content creator, credit card order service, pricing service, load generation, DB service, third party, front end, offer service. Okay, so there we have a many service. Now, to monitor this application, right? I need to install Dynatrace One Agent. So Dynatrace One Agent, I need to install as a container, yeah, as a application process, as a process. Tell me, anyone has idea? Srini, Gaurav, no?
As a process, I think.
You can install both. Okay. Either you can install Dynatrace One Agent as a container. Yeah, you can install Dynatrace One Agent. The normal we are installing on the VM, right? Same way you can install on that way also. Okay.
So do we have an option in that deploy Dynatrace in that in the Dockers?
Yeah, there is a steps in the Docker Hub. If you go, you can install Dynatrace One Agent as a Docker container. So it is not available in the UI. Okay, but
Yeah.
if you go to Docker Hub, you know that, right? Docker Hub. So if you go to Docker Hub, which is called all the image, right, which is publicly available, you can go and search in the Docker Hub. Okay, so just you type one agent. Yeah, Dynatrace you type. Dynatrace one agent. One agent is a one word. You see, it is a published image. active get module where we have Dynatrace one agent. You see, there is a modules available. Okay, one agent for cloud native container image is available, you can use that. Okay, sometimes your wish you want to install as a agent, then you can install that.
So this
uh,
images like just never tried that one. But
yeah, so you see, Dynatrace pull, Docker pull, you saw when you do this, right, what happened is your image will get pulled. Now you need to start the image, but this is not a best practice. You directly pull the image and you start this. There is a very big command, you have to do that. Okay, I will showcase you that. Okay, so just not like you have to pull the image, and then sometimes when you are doing some kind of cloud native environment, like everything will be auto deployed, everything, right? That time we used to pull the image and then you put in that file and then we used to do that. Okay. Yeah, I will show you that how you can install Dynatrace One Agent as a Docker container also later on. Okay.
sure.
So now, so my all the applications are running. If I'll do Docker PS, so Docker PS means whichever the applications are running only, it will show. If you type Docker PS hyphen A, it will show running container as well as your if container got in exited state. So you see this. So it will show there is no exit state. So you can see all the created. If you do type Docker image, it will show you what are the image we have. So what are the image? First we have tried to pull the image from GitHub. It is not available. Then it will pull the image locally. Locally first they will try. It is not available. Then it will pull from the Docker Hub. Okay. So all the image we have an image ID, right? So this is the commands we have. Then we have Docker image. Then you can build the image using Docker file. All those things. I will be showing that little when we will discuss about Kubernetes. But time being, this much is sufficient. Now what I can do is, so let's see whether my application is running or not. Copy this IP and it is running on 80 port. Just to type 80 without IP. So see my easy trade application would be okay. Sorry, it is a HTTPS. So it should be HTTP. Website is not secure. I will also show you that how you can secure the website using OpenSSL so that you will be understand that. Okay, so this is your application. Okay, so now you can log in and you can do instrument deploy. Okay, so let's monitor this application, agitated application, with the help of Dynatrace. Okay, so I can go with Dynatrace. I'll go my one agent, set up, Linux full stack mode, generate a token, copy this, and cd double dot mkdir one agent, cd one agent ls. Okay, so now some of things we have not enabled. So host name, what is the host name I can put? EG trade. Okay, web app 001. Host group, I can create a new one. What is the host group name is EG trade. Tag you can add here also, you can add later also. There is a concept is called property. Okay, property means every host has a property. Okay, and you want to add more property, like this is belongs to your environment dev. This also can be added as a tag, but you want to add a property, it will be little more secure. Nobody can delete that. Okay, now suppose who's the owner of this application? Ravi, something like that you can add. honor underscore email. You can add apm-dt@outlook.com. Something like that you can add, so that what happened is something happened to this application, yeah, host. Yeah, sometimes restart is needed for this application. Yeah, restart is required for the complete server itself, right? In that time, you should find who is the owner for this application. So I need approval for that, correct? Right? And those kind of things, either you need to find, you need to contact internally who's the owner for this application. Yeah, there is a website which is called asset management, right? Which is called land sweeper. Yeah, people used to do from ServiceNow itself, and they used to go and check this who's the owner for this host, and then application server, yeah, host in infrastructure, and then they used to send an email. Yeah, if they wanted to call, then you can call them. So those kind of things you can add the property itself, so that it will happen is whenever something happen to this application, okay, yeah, to infrastructures, you can directly call them. Okay, yeah, directly you can email them in spite of looking here and there. Okay, so that is the reason we used to add some kind of property. What is the application version? So version you can add like 1.0. So like this you can add many properties. Okay, now I copy this step, you can skip that. Okay, and then I'm deploying this application.
So like I'm not I'm I mean like you're explaining to us on the SRE perspective. So this GitHub has all the source code, right?
Yeah,
So, okay. So we are trying to clone that source code on our side, correct?
so what I did is I cloned this code, and this is the code. Okay, this is the open source
The
code, everyone you can
easy.
use that. And then
Okay,
I'm running this application on my servers. So what are the
okay,
prerequisites are required, right? That I did, and then my applications are up. You see, this is my application. Okay, so I have, see, log out, and there's a default. Okay, this is not like you see. 1 second, I will show you that. I'm getting news. So you see, there is a many users. You see here, and then you can
yes,
do a lot of things. Even you can do the sign up also. You can do sign up. You can create a first name, last name, email address, password, and then you do the sign up also. But there is a demo app, so please do not enter real data, because the maybe it's not protected properly. So real time data you cannot enter. This is not a real time application, but you can do that. Okay, and this is just like how you have doing in your organization level, right? The same way. So I'm showing you that
oh,
it will be easier for you. So now my one agent is installed. So you can check systemctl status one agent dot service. My one agent is running now. You see my active. Now I'll go to my in deployment status. So now I have installed Dynatrace one agent. To see that application services, what I have to do? You see all the service. What is asking? Restart. You see here, all the service is looking for restart, right? So what I can do is,
I think restart the server, right?
yeah, restart not the server, restart the application service. Okay, so cd double dot ls cd easy trade. Okay, Docker hyphen compose down. So if it is running individual, now you see we have around 12 service, yeah, 10 service we have. So individually, if you want to running as a service individually, and you create a network, Docker network, and then you are running that, then you have to stop the service, all the service individually, right? Because we are running as a Docker compose, so we have combined all the service, okay, and then we are running as a Docker compose. So Docker compose, what we are doing, if I'll do Docker compose down, all the service will entirely goes down because it is combined all the service. Now if I'll go with Docker up, you'll go for Docker. That is the benefit we have for Docker Compose. So
So
in
why are
Docker,
we?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So Ravi, why are we using a Docker here instead of like a any EC2 instance, specifically just a host, right?
Hmm. So
So
we are, see, there is a two types of application, right? One you'll have in the organization monolith application, which is your normal application jar file, and then you deploy this application. One you will having a microservice based application. So either it would be running as a Docker file and as a Docker compose, yeah, on your Kubernetes. Only three things. Okay. So now you understood yesterday how you can run your jar application. Now today you are understanding how you can running with the help of Docker Compose. I will show you in middle how you can create a Docker file. So what application we have deployed yesterday, right? We can write a Docker file, and then we'll deploy the application with the single base, and then how you can deploy that application on your Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so only you'll have a three environment. Okay, apart from that, you will not find any kind of environment. Okay, so all the things you should be knowing, right? Otherwise, it will be, see, if you don't understand that Docker, if you don't understand the Kubernetes, you don't understand the application package to set up the monitoring, it will be very difficult for you. Suppose you don't understand Kubernetes commands, how you can log into their cluster, then how you can install Dynatrace one agent as an operator? If something happened on this cluster, how you can troubleshoot that, right? So it would be very difficult for you to troubleshoot. Otherwise, most of the people are struggling because of that reason only, because they don't know Docker. They don't know Docker Compose. They don't know Docker container. They don't know how the image has to be deployed. They don't know how to check the Docker logs, right? So it will be difficult for you to troubleshoot if something happened. Yeah, something is not getting monitored with the help of Dynatrace. That is the reason people are struggling. So you should know little bit from the all the side. Then only you can monitor their application infra, yeah, application in the proper way. Clear? Make sense?
so this Docker Compose has all these microservices of easy trade like front
Correct.
end, local service. So these
Yeah.
are all microservices
All are microservice.
in
I
this
can,
Docker Compose.
yeah, in this so what we have done is we have all the service combined one which is called Docker Compose. Okay. So now we have Docker Compose down. I can run this. So Docker hyphen compose up hyphen D. I'm running in the hyphen D means detach mode. Detach mode means it will not run in the foreground, it will run in the background. Okay. So now you see all are in. So they have, so now we are creating a containers. It is not a complete SRE training. That is the reason I'm not explaining on that level how you can write a Docker compose.yaml file, yeah, all those things. But Docker file, Docker compose, small, like yesterday we deploy one jar file, right? For that application, we can write a Docker file, we can write Docker compose, so that will have a complete understanding. Okay. In not now, in between. Why? Because first we need to understand Dynatrace also, right? Because the application has lots of things.
Sure.
Okay, so now, so if I'll type docker ps, so my all the containers are running, and this also got restarted. Application restarted. So if I'll refresh it, So see all the EasyTrade applications, okay, still is not getting visible. Go to your host page, check your application running. Now I will go to my host page and type EasyTrade. Filter your time frame for last 30 minutes. So let me see whether container we have. So see all the container we have. You see all the container you can see. Now if there is a container page itself.
How to? Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Yeah, continues.
There is a container page itself where you can see all the containers. Okay. Even you can see the containers which is available. Okay, this is for Kubernetes. This is not for so this is you see right?
I think it's not showing for the Dockers, right? Does
No,
it?
no, no, it is for it is showing the container, right? You see, whatever the
Container. Okay.
image okay, you see Easy Trade web app where it is running. Okay, so we have all the container we have which is available in your container page also. And now we can see in the host page also. We have a dedicated page for container also and dedicated page in the host page also. They have one section was given as a container analysis. Okay, where you can see all the containers. Now, and you go for a service page. If I'll go to my service page, you see all the service also will get visible. So now you try to correlate from different tools, other monitoring tools. What is happening here is other monitoring tools, if you want to enable APM, either Appdynamics, yeah, Datadog, yeah, Neural Lake, it took you around 4 to 5 days to enable APM monitoring. Why? Because all the service we have, there is a Docker file you see here. I'm comparison with other tools, ls, cdsrc, ls, and I will go suppose front end service example, cd front end. Now ls, there is a Docker file. Okay, you see the Docker file. I have to add the Docker file. In the Docker file, component where you have copy the component from this path that we have a trace app agent, right? So this is the front end is a Node.js. So Node.js agent we have downloaded, and then we have to add in this file where it is located, and then in which section it has to be run. All the service I have to done it. Then I have to build the image locally because after you're putting your Docker file, right, you have to build the image. Okay. So then once you build the image, if you do Docker images, you see, right, we have an image. So we have to build the image, right, with the latest name. Okay. So it will be a override. And then once you build the image, then all the service you have to do same way. Then you run the Docker compose and check whether you are getting any errors. It will take you around 3 to 4 days. Now you see in the Dynatrace, just you install the agent. There is no application dependency here. Okay. So this is the difference we have. Suppose I am doing in the Datadog. It will take me around 1 hour to modify all the Docker file and put it everything in the proper way, and then you run in Docker Compose. Okay. So that is the beauty we have in Dynatrace. Okay. So now you see all the services visible. Okay. So now your APM part, infra monitoring and APM monitoring is done. Okay. Suppose some of things you don't want to monitor, some of the process you don't want to monitor, you can create a rules. Okay. Suppose if I want to go to the host and something you don't want to monitor, application process or something, you can create a rule and you can exclude that from the monitoring scope. So you see is, yeah, Suppose I'm going a Spring Pet Clinic. Yes. Can you go for a mute? I'm getting some echo sound from someone. Yeah. So now you see setting. You see process. Okay. Process group monitoring. Add process group. Suppose you this suppose you want to take this. You see, do not monitor. Something like that. You can create that. Imagine this as imagine. Do not monitor. I don't want to monitor. I can exclude that. So this is for individual. Now, if you go to the host group setting, complete whichever the host is applicable for this. If you go to the global, it will be global. I don't want to monitor SSM agent, something like that. You can create a rules. Okay. Now, so your APM part is done. You understood that? Your infra monitoring is done. APM is monitored. APM monitoring is done just to enable that service. Now will tell you about how you can create a custom service, all those things. If it is not visible, that I'll say, tell you a little later. But now your APM monitoring is done. Your infra monitoring and APM monitoring is done. Now, what else? You can do some naming convention. We'll create when we'll speak about rules. I'll speak all the rules in the proper way. Okay. So now what I have to do is I have to enable real user monitoring. To enable a real user monitoring, what I have to do is I have to go to my setting tab. Either you go to setting or setting classic. If you go, this is a newer UI, if you go setting and here, because if you have worked on Dynatrace and you know that end-to-end configuration, then your this setting will help you. Okay, because you have to search here. You have to see real user monitoring. Okay, and then you see front end. Yeah, so where you have to go, you should know that I should go to the application detection. Yeah, I should go with the front end. You don't know, right? So you have to do that. You need to remember that. Yeah, if you know that classic setting very well, then this setting will help you. Otherwise, you go with the anyway. It is redirecting to classic setting only. Okay, so better you start going with setting classic. So you see, I'm coming to that web and mobile monitoring. Then I have to go to the application detection and add item, and I can take the URLs that we have, right? Easy trade, yeah, we have for pet clinic. So let me take the URL. URL contains copy this. Control V, HTTP, okay, colon 80. They have 80 port. Yeah, just give the URLs. Because if you give this itself, it will hit this, it will redirect to that login page. Okay. So now I will go here, and URL contains. Always URL contains. Yeah, URL equals also you can take. Okay. So whichever the matcher you wish to have, you can take with that. URL contains, yeah, URL equals. Yeah, I can take URL contains pattern. I can take this. This is my pattern and application name. So create an application name and just this is my easy trade. Create a easy trade. Description you can write, which is your optional. This application belongs to a dev environment. What kind of things you have enabled, those kind of things. Description you can write and save changes. Once you have done this application detection, and let me create for uh, this also a Spring Pet Clinic also. Okay, let me go to my instance. Find the IP.
So the classic you're talking about, right, Ravi? Is it like the SaaS model?
Both are SaaS only. Okay, they have a two UI. Okay, one is classic UI, one is old UI, one is new UI. Okay, so some of the configuration has been migrated to old new UI, some of things still are pointing to old UI.
Okay.
Okay. So this is my application name is Pet Clinic. Clinic. Create application. Okay. Save changes. In the one application, suppose you have Pet Clinic and Pet Clinic portal also. Example, I am talking about. Suppose you have a two application. Sometimes it happens in the organization. Suppose there example we have one application you have Pet Clinic and second is Pet Clinic portal. Example. Here you have URL petclinic.com. Here you have petclinicportal.com. If you if you enter petclinicportal.com also, it will redirect to the same portal. It happens, right? You can do that, right? That in DNS resolution, DNS A resolution, right? When you are creating that, taking that domain in the DNS, you can add that, right? So you can add the multiple URLs also. That is the reason I'm saying. So you have added one URL. Suppose you want to add one more URL, domain URL, you can add that. Okay. So here add item again, give the URL pattern HTTP colon double slash petclinic portal.com example. Okay, but both are pointing to main domain. Okay, something like that also it happens. Okay, and then you need to don't create application, just you select the application. Okay, why it is not happening? 1 second, let me refresh. Add item, URL contains, because I have not refreshed the page, that is the reason it was not taking that. So one URL is pattern is http colon double slash petclinicportal.com example. Okay, what I can do is I can select the application and I can save changes. So there will be two domain for one application, right? Pet clinic and pet clinic. So pet clinic portal and pet clinic domain both are pointing to one application. Okay, so that's how you can do that. Okay, like sometimes you'll have a requirement, so you should not confuse like where I should create a new front end app. Yeah, I should add in the same. You can add in the same. We used to do that. Okay, make sense? Now I will go to my front end.
What we didn't understand that like two
Okay.
same.
Now, suppose you have one easytradeportal.easytrade.com. Okay. Second domain you have easytradeportal.com. Okay. Both are pointing to one domain. Both are opening the same web app. It happens, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Example. I'll show you that. Okay. It is a good thing. Okay. I'll go here. Connection is secure. Certificate is valid. Details. Alternative name. Now you are opening Dynatrace.com, right? Now I can open this. Also point to Dynatrace, right? This domain.
Yes,
Yes. This domain also will open the Dynatrace portal. Yes, yeah, no. This will
yes.
also open the Dynatrace portal. This also open the Dynatrace portal. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to say?
Yes,
So
yes. Got it.
sometimes multiple DNS pointing to one domain. So see, I am hitting this URL. DNS. You see? Okay. Wait. Let me find the URL itself.
I think, are you talking about the canonical name in Unix terminology? Like, uh,
I think that one only, alternative name only. Okay, so what I can do is I can copy this Yeah, let me see. There is a URL also here. Yeah, let me point this alternative name with the HTTPS. Let me try. HTTPS colon double slash. Put this. No, yeah, it is not coming. Somewhere you can find here. Let's suppose example. We are taking apps.dynatrace.com, right? We are taking, right? And live.dynatrace.com. Both are pointing to one URL or not. Suppose I am taking star.apps.dynatrace.com. So my star is tenant ID. So let's see that. Okay, so star is my tenant ID. So this is my tenant ID. I will go here. I will remove my this and put this. Which URL you are opening? One same URL, Dynatrace portal. And
Yes, this,
instead of apps, I'm putting live.dynatrace.com. Okay, and remove this. Same Dynatrace portal, redirecting to apps, right?
same.
It has happened, right? Sometimes in the application, this is also application, right? It happens in the organization level also. You will be facing this kind of scenario. Okay, so that is the reason you can add the URLs. Okay, in the same thing, same URL, same application. You can add that. Okay, clear?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Now let me open my pet clinic application. Control V colon 8080. So this is my application. Let me generate some traffic because we want to enable, right? Now, so first thing, once you have configured your web application, first thing what you have to do as a best practice when you are doing in the first time, okay? First you have to go to your setting classic, okay, and disable your default web app. Now, if you see that before disabling, I'll say that both the application we have Easy Trade and a pet clinic application is pointing to same front end application. You see, if I'll go to my front end, UI is very slow. If I'll open this front end, open link in new tab, now you see Easy Trade was created, Pelkitney was created, and Easy Trade was created. But you see, it is capturing my web application also. Easy Trade, we don't have data. We have not done initiated any transaction, but my web application also capturing the data. But we don't know, right, for which application they are capturing the data. Either Easy Trade, yeah, Pet Clinic. Which one? Login service. This is capturing from your which application? API slash login. API we have which service? This is belongs to your this service. Which service? Your Easy Trade application. So what we have to do is we have to you see front end reverse proxy all those things. So what we have to do is we have to disable default setting web app. So I have to disable monitoring overview and I have to disable this. That is the best practice you have to do. Once you do this, all the transaction was here, initiated here in the capture in this application, it will migrate to this. I'll disable it. Okay. And let me generate some traffic. If you guys also, you can, if you join with laptop, can you generate some traffic on both the applications so that it will be easier to see the data and okay. So let me generate some traffic. So you log in with different users. I'm going to log in with Robert. Log in as a Robert. Instrument. Easy trade. Deposit. Amount $500. Cardholder name. Someone address. Current balance 20. Card type Visa. 1, 2, 3. Agree. Yeah, we take autofill deposit. Withdraw $500. Take autofill. Withdraw. Credit card. Autofill.
Yeah, created few records. Can you see?
Yeah, it will capture. So now, so I can go to my front end application. So now you see, so now EasyTrade is processing a data. Okay. So now you see how we have created. So now tell me, have you enabled RUM on Datadog? Yeah, have you enabled RUM on Appdynamics? Yeah, have you enabled RUM on a Splunk Observability Cloud? Yeah, Elasticsearch, any tools? Anyone? Tell me. Anyone? Have you enabled ever?
I think
Srini?
I think Dynatrace only has that, right? I think
No,
they
no.
don't have
All
that.
the tools they do have.
They have. Okay. I enabled in Dynatrace though, not in other tools. I did work on the RUM, so I know.
Appdynamics, who has worked on? Nobody worked on Appdynamics? Okay. So when you enable a RUM on other tools, okay, like if you can watch my video on YouTube for Datadog, okay, there is a huge process. We have a JS file, and then you putting the JS file in the application code, and then we build the application, then we deploy the application. Okay, that's how the process is. Okay, but in Dynatrace, there is a concept is called auto injection model. Okay, so what happened is applications, when you go to that application and inspect page, network tab, and reload the URL. You see, there is a URL. This is my URL, domain URL, right? Application URL, right? After that, it got injected with this JS tag. Means when you configure your web application, and if you have a license is not bothering you, you configure the web application, it will get auto injected in your application code. So we are not gonna add manually in your application code that JS file, and then you check whether it got added, then you build the package with the help of Maven command, and then you deploy that package, all those things. Then you create a Docker file, whatever things is the compose Docker is a image level. Okay, but if it is a container base also, yeah, if it is a normal jar file application also, it will get auto injected with the help of one agent. Okay, so now, so whenever if you don't get the data, suppose you have configured a web application, but you are doing some kind of transaction and you are not seeing the data in the front end. First, what you have to do is in the troubleshooting, you have to go to this, open your front end application, right click and go to your inspect page, and open your network tab and reload the URL and check whether we have a Ruxit.js tag got added or not. If it is not available in the Ruxit tag in your application inspect page in the network tab, then you can see that that JS snippet was not injected. In which scenario that JS snippet was not injected? Sometimes you might have observed, have you worked any kind of application where you cannot see the page source, yeah, inspect page itself? In the developer mode, you cannot go. Have you seen those kind of application? Very secure application. You talk about payment gateway application which have, right? It will not allow you to auto injection. It will not allow you. Normal web app, no money related informations, you can go with auto injections. It will allow you. Okay, but if it is a complete secure environment which is within the network or something, it will not allow you to auto injection if you create a web app also. But you have to create a web app. Okay, first you have to create a web app, then you have to go second step, you have to check, do the transaction, check whether we have JS tag was added in the URLs or not. If it is not added, then what is the next step? Okay, that we are going to discuss. Okay, so once you have added, and if it is not getting, so you check in the this also, easy trade also. So you see here, I will go to inspect page and network tab and reload the URL. You see, Ruxit target was as it. Any page if I'll go deposit, you see, JSTOG got added. And see, in the URL and after that, whatever the domain URL you have configured, after that there will be a JS tag. So from where the JS tag is coming up. Okay, so first, if it is not getting injected, how you can inject manually? Okay, so you see it got migrated. Now, what I can go, I will go to my application. Inside the application, edit that, and there's a injection. You see here, there's an automatic injection with the help of one agent. We did that. Okay, and there's a manual insertion. If you go to your manual insertion, right, if it is not getting added, first thing you have to create a web app, create the web app, then you go to the application setting, okay, and copy this snippet. Okay, yeah, download this snippet, whatever things you wish. Okay, and you put in the application code manually. Now you open that application code. Suppose in the application we have. Okay, so you go to your pom application. If it's a Java jar file, if Java based application, you go to their pom.xml page, and where we have index.html, you put somewhere. Okay, this path. Okay, this path. If it's a front end, so you need to find in the microservice which is your front end Node.js application, front end application. You go to that application, you go to their source code, and then you do the changes. Okay, so same thing you have to do other tools. You have to do that. A snippet you have to add manually. Okay, but in Dynatrace we have a complete auto injection. 90% of applications will go with the auto only. Okay, now so you see here all the pages, it is getting monitored by default, but I don't want to monitor all the page. I want to monitor only deposit and withdrawal page. Some like we have something called contact, a lot of pages we have, right? I don't want to monitor, which I don't want to monitor and capture the data in Dynatrace. What you can do is you can create a rule for that. Okay, so what you can do is custom injection rules. You go with that and create a rules. I don't want to monitor this page, login page, whichever the page you don't want to monitor. So add custom rules. URLs equals, yeah, URL contains, and you give like, suppose I'm going with the pet clinic and error tab. Okay, so something like this. I don't want to monitor. So don't give the complete URL, because this URL till already we have in Dynatrace. So it will accept only till here. You see, pattern dash slash and do not inject. And you do the save changes. That's it. It will not get injected now. So like this, you have to do this kind of such things. You have to add, and then you have to do that. So some of the pages you don't want to monitor, you can do that. On top of that, you have to check the license part. Okay, so now I have enabled all the users. Now enable real user monitoring for 100%. You want to enable 100%? Yeah, you want to enable 50%. Okay, yeah, 80%, something like that. Okay, so something. So I am want to enable real user 100%, and cost traffic I want to enable. Like this is for session replay. So session replay I want to enable only 80%. Example. Yeah, 50%. Something like that you can enable. Yeah, you can enable. Let's the sample, so enable 100%, but real time you will not get a chance to enable 100%, because if it is costing 1 unit, this cost for real user monitoring, this costs you 10 units. license cost. Okay. So this is a 0.1, this is a 1. So that we have a difference. Okay. Now I have saved it. So now I have enabled session replay also, right? So yesterday we talked about session replay will capture in the video mode. Okay. So now you see, and there is a data privacy. So data privacy, you want to mask the personal data in the URL. Yes, I want to mask. So you can do the save changes. For session replay, what you want to mask? Mask user input. That is suffice. Whatever the user input we have, right? We are putting like username, passwords, right? Debit card, PIN, whatever things, right? Because it's capturing as a video. So it will get masked. Okay. So this thing I have
So
marked.
what?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
So Ravi, this session replay and mask you are saying, what exactly is that?
Which one?
Session replay. You're talking about session replay and mask. What exactly is that?
So
Like in
session replay will yesterday we talked about, right? Session replay will capture in the video mode. So I'll show you that. So whatever the dot you have, masking means now whatever the transaction we have done here, yeah, whatever the transaction we have done in this application, like we are withdrawing the amount, we are doing some payment, yeah, we are doing some deposit, it will capture as a complete information as a video with my user tag with robot. Okay. Now it will show what I can do. So whatever the amount we have added and whatever the information I have filled here, like it will add a XXXXX. So you see that here.
oh,
Okay.
okay, mask it out. Okay.
That will mask that your part. So I will go to my front end. Okay. Now I'm opening my EasyTrade, analyze user session. So now wait for a few minutes. So I have disabled that, remove that application. So just I'll see session replay. Yes, any user we have? We don't have. Let me enable for this also. Front end. For pet clinic also let me enable, and then and we'll do some transactions. Can you generate some transaction for EG trade? Let's see how the data is coming. I will go to my pet clinic, edit. Now we have cost control. Session replay is enabled for this. Now let's go to pet clinic enabled. EG trade I have to enable, right? So back, you have to click here. Okay, you will get multiple things, right? If you get click here, click here, click here, it will go back one step back. So now I am going with pet clinic. You see, it will open this. So now I want to go back application page. Just to click here. Okay, don't think like you can hit back the URL also. Yeah, you can click here. So it will one step back. You can go. There is no some kind of lot of configuration. We don't have directly save button. You do that, automatically it will saved. Okay. Okay, both it is done. Okay, both the applications we have this. Okay. Now let me go to my front end. Oh, now I will go to my and analyze user session. It takes time to capture your RUM data, session replay. Session replay, yes, no. So right now it will get captured. It takes time, okay, to enable the session replay. Once you enable, it takes time to capture your first time capture. So you see, right now you are getting anonymous, okay. But Spring Pet Clinic don't have any kind of user login information, okay. So you'll have a anonymous, but Easy Trade has a login as a which user you want to log in. So you can capture the user tag, okay. So user tag will can capture with the help of you can add some information as a user tag in the application setting, so it will get captured. I'll show you tomorrow, next class. But however, you can see, I'll explain you that session. So you see, it will capture so it will, when you enable the user tag, it will capture as a user tag. Like my name Ravi, it will Ravi something. If it is a Gaurav, some whatever the user ID you have, right? If it is your email ID, it will your employee ID, it will be your some first name dot last name, it could be anything, right? So user tag you can enable in the multiple way, which is called your metadata, yeah, JavaScript variables, yeah, some variables parameter, okay. So we have multiple options we have. So you have to configure those kind of rules to enable the user tag. For that, you have to see the front end how it is, and then you have to configure that. I'll show you in the next class. But however, you can see if you go to that, inside that, meanwhile it will capture as anonymous as a user ID, unique ID, and you can see it will capture here. So now if you go inside there, so what are the data is capturing? This people are accessing from Hyderabad, one browser, one application. Okay. If you go inside this user session, you can get complete details. You see, 17 minutes, 53 seconds session duration. This is your unique ID. Instead of unique ID, you'll have a user ID. Where is the web application name. They are using Microsoft Edge 16. Enable, they are using ACT fibernet internet. Their IP address is this, location is this. Okay, what are the things they have done? So we have loaded this page output, these are the transaction you have done, and there is a score we have. Okay, so I'll explain you that a score. There is a three types of user. Okay, one is satisfied user, satisfied. Second one is tolerating. Third one is frustrated. If you are able to open the website within 3 seconds, right? You can say it is a satisfied user. If greater than 3, less than 12, then you are tolerating. And if it is greater than 12 second, it is completely frustrated. Means that sometimes you might have seen, right? Whenever your application has too much load, let's talk about Tatkal applications. Like when you are booking the Tatkal ticket, okay? Yeah, whenever you have a sale in your application, you understand the sale, right? Sometimes you'll have a huge offer in the black, something like big billion day or something like that. Sometimes we have some kind of offers. You book this before 1 hour, before 2 hours, you'll have. So that time will have a too much load in your application. Definitely, website will get slow if it is not getting scaling your application on the Kubernetes side. It is not okay. Yeah, you have certain, like you can scale maximum 5 cluster or 6 cluster, and you have a scaled up to 6, and the still load is too much. Okay, then definitely your application will go slow because of your heap memory will get uh, completely stuck, your garbage, all those things. Okay, so that is the reason it happens for that, right? So if you are able to website, is Dynatrace saying, if you are able to website within the 3 seconds, I'm saying you are a satisfied user. If it is greater than 3, less than 12, you are tolerating. If completely greater than 12 seconds, it is taking your website, then you can say it is a frustrated. If you will get frustrated, and that time definitely you will not initiate any kind of transaction if website is very slow. You talk about PF, income tax portal website. Now you have to file ITR. Yeah, PF portal website. Sometimes you find the slowness. You can observe that it's a government. We cannot do anything. But in the if it is a competitor web market, we have definitely you will not do those kind of things from that website, like flight booking, yeah, some buying some kind of product, yeah, something like that. Okay, so in your scenario sometimes you are saying, hey, if when my website is getting opened up in the 5 second also, I'm satisfied that you have to do the changes, those kind of things. Okay, I'll show you that. So this is your satisfied, and what are the transitions you have done. If it is getting frustrated, so where it is getting frustrated, you can go with the perform the waterfall analysis. Okay, and you can see that which page is causing a problem, so you can find the URLs and you can understand that. So you see there is a one trace fail. You see there is a one URL which is called maybe URL was wrong. Yeah, something. You see HTTP colon double slash this 8080 and slash outputs. That is was facing one error. Same thing. And what is the region? You can see what are the sizes it took. This will help you when you have a real time. Okay, so this is the things, it will help you a lot when you are doing the user level analysis. Okay, now, and same thing it will when when your session replay is enabled, it will capture as a video mode. You'll have a waterfall analysis also, and you'll have a video mode also. You can see that where is user exact is facing a problem, right? Still you'll have a problem, you will think like what I have to do. But when you see that video, you can understand and you can feel it in the real time, and you can resolve the issue. Sometimes in the you open the website and your image was not loaded. Sometimes it happens, right? Some of the image was showing as a not, it was not loaded properly because of your, it could be your network connectivity. Yeah, image resolution is very high, it is not loading in the properly. So those kind of things you will face when your application is getting deployed in your production, yeah, is coming to the staging. So that is the reason people used to keep that application in the soak period for 10 days, 20 days, and check everything is working as expected or not, then they used to deploy in the production in the bigger organization. Okay, so those kind of things you can see that. And how you can do some kind of thing that I talk about, right? Which I used to say, up where is the application setting? You see what is happening? Okay. Uh, I think why is this coming as a, so now I will show you how you can, like, 4 second you want to keep, yeah, something. See, video got added. You see this, you can understand that. You have to enable some plugins. Okay, session replay. Okay, temporarily data is unavailable. Wait for few minutes. It will data will get available. Meanwhile, I'll show you that how you can do that. So I will go to my front end.
So in real time also they ask for session replay monitoring, no?
Yeah,
In that case.
yes. Okay. So now,
It's similar like browser clicked path, right? In the synthetic monitoring, like how we
mm,
just do the
yeah,
browser clicked
yeah,
path
correct, correct, correct,
recording.
correct. Yeah, correct. But this is the we have synthetic user here. Here we'll have a real user data.
Okay.
Okay. So now you see we have visually complete. We have in 3 seconds, 0.3 somewhere. You see, right? So what I can do is I'll go here, edit, and you see here load action. So we have a three types of action: load action, XHR, XML HTTP request, and if there is any custom action. You see, we have 0 to 3 green signal, 3 to 12 yellow signal, and greater than 12 we have a red signal. Okay, so you can do that. 3, so I can put 4, something like that. Or same thing for 4, then we have a callback coming, same I think put as a 4. Okay, something like that, and you can do the save changes for load action. Same way you can do for XHR also. Same way you can, if you have enable custom action, if you have, you can enable for that. Okay, so this kind of things based on your application you have to decide. This kind of threshold you have, if you know very well, then only you can discuss with the application team. Hey, tell me how much time is taking your application to load. Okay, suppose your application resides in US. Okay, now we are accessing from India. So what happened is first time when you access that application, it take lots of time. Have you seen that? Suppose your Indian application, like you take a PF website, you access from US. Okay, the complete new project first time. Okay, that from that project, it will take time to load that. From second time onwards, it will be a little less time. Why? Because when you accessing first time, so there is a concept is called edge location. So depend on that in application to application, right? If it is you have enabled the edge location, so when you enable, when you accessing your website, it is not hosted, it is not belong same region, same continent, all those things, then, and you are accessing from different market itself, country itself, and you are getting slowness. First time you'll feel a slowness. Second time onwards it will fine. Why? Because first time the network data also have to be travel right from here to there. So it's a huge far. So definitely will take time. So second time, so what first time when you travel, right? What application team when you enable those kind of, it will create a edge location. So edge location is just kind of temporary location it will create on that. Whenever you're accessing that, it will go from the cookies and fetch from the your temp location and show you the data, so it will be a little faster second time. Okay, so if you, after 24 hours again it will get fairness. Okay, edge location is not like to always this is just a dummy location will get created and then application will host it from that. Okay, those kind of things also people used to do if it is available globally, all those things. Okay, but you can do the changes if your applications has, like, hey, I'm opening the website in 4 seconds also, my user is open the website in 4 seconds also, I'm fine with that. You can do the changes of threshold, all those things. Okay, so this is your user satisfaction. You have seen that, right? So if I'll go to my user session, okay, so you can see that. Okay, so now you see all the users, you can see that, right? Now let's see whether the video is getting shown or not. Still it takes time, it takes time. Okay, it's not coming up, maybe we can see in the next class. Okay, so now when you enable the session replay, it will capture as a video. Just you add the extension, there's the extension, you once you enable that, it automatically, you once you open that video, in spite of timeline, it will show you as a video, so you'll have both the features. Okay, but the cost, so wherever you have faced some errors, you can see where the peoples are getting frustrated, because sometimes your application is more customer facing. Customer facing, like you talk about flight booking website like agoda.com, yeah, make my trip, yeah, clear trip, which are the website you have, right? Which is you're facing your customers. Customer is a main key for them. Then those kind of front end application, they must have to enable session replay, because they want to uh, because their competition is very tight. Now you tell me, you are trying to book a flight ticket, okay, from Hyderabad to US example, which is costing you $1,000, and for 2 members, and if suddenly you book the website from Make My Trip and your payment got stuck, you have not received the ticket. Okay, now tell me, after that you will book the ticket from Make My Trip. Tell me, yes or no? Nischal, you will book the ticket?
If it is like giving it a lot of time, I won't do that. You won't do that.
Huh, nobody do that. If got your transaction got failed, your money got deducted with $2,000. Now you tell me you will book the ticket. The next time, after
No.
10 minutes, suppose you after 10 minutes, your money got refunded. Will you able to book the ticket? You have a confidence? No. You will go with the different website like agoda.com, yeah, something. Amazon also providing a flight ticket, right? IRCTC also providing a flight ticket. If it is available from that website, I can go with that. I will not go with yeah, booking.com. I will not go with this make my trip, yeah, something, clear trip, whatever things we have in the market. So their competition is very tightly coupled. Okay, that is the reason they want to monitor everything. You might have seen, right? You log in some make my trip or something, whichever the flight ticket, and you do some kind of enable some kind of you check the tickets from here to there, and you see after 5 minutes or 10 minutes pricing difference you will see. Why? How? Because they once you do that, they are capturing your cookies information. Are you getting my point? You see that in the setting you might have seen, right? Capture all the data in the cookies also. If you want to enable, you are capturing the cookies information. That is the reason you are seeing their flight. That is the reason, right? You might have seen sometimes in the reels, YouTube, yeah, Instagram reels, you might have seen whenever you are booking a flight ticket, you open your website application, up their application in the incognito mode. Have you seen that? Anyone? Some of the influencer, they used to do that, right? Yes, yeah, no. Okay, so these kind of things happen, right? Because they're capturing your cookies information. Whenever you open the application, how they are capturing, they have enabled this kind of features in their application. Is it clear? So this is the way you can capturing, and then you can see that. Okay, session replay still is not enabled, but you can do that. Okay, so this is the way you are capturing, and then in spite of that, this timeline, you can see video also. So this is your timeline data. See, right? Who is using one OTT internet? Anyone? Who is using? Tell me. Anyone? Who is using this? Oh,
You might be using.
I am using?
I'm thinking you are the one using that.
No, I am not using one OTT.
I'm from Hyderabad, so we don't have one OTT internet here.
I think I might be I'm using a local because I'm staying
I
little
see.
so I might be using, right. So it is getting capture all the information. You see, which location, which IP, which system, Windows 10, which application, which browser. So I'm using Chrome only. So all the details is getting captured. Now you see wherever we have errors, it will capture as a red and saying it is getting frustrated, yeah, whatever thing. And you see their waterfall analysis. Yeah, you can see there. If you want to enable as a video, once it is enabled, you can capture in the video mode. See that where the user is facing a problem. That's it. So those kind of things it will capture in the session replay. Okay, and just you have to, and so once it is, then you have to install the plugin, and then you have to do that. So this is the way you can implement your RUM data. Any questions? How you can enable your RUM?
Yeah, so you're saying the plugin, right? Like, so
Hmm.
where you get the plugin? Can you come again,
For session
Ravi?
replay,
Yeah, so you're just
once your
enabling the
data is
plugin, right?
available, right? That plugin you go here, Microsoft manage yeah, this extension. Just to session replay, just to type Dynatrace, Chrome.
Related session replace browser extension,
That
right?
is for different. This is for session replay. For RUM, it will give you the plugin to install here itself. That is the reason I was waiting for that. Okay, and it will redirect to that. Okay. Otherwise, Chrome extension where I used to go here. Okay, my extension it is okay here. Here we have Chrome Web Store. Okay, here you type Dynatrace. You see, right?
Yes.
So this plugin was now this extension is no longer because it does not follow best practice Chrome extension. They have removed it. Okay, so there is a plugin. Yeah, now they might have in your UI, they might have enable in here itself. Earlier we had this plugin. Now they might have enable here itself. I have to check that because they are coming with new tenant. Earlier we had this real user monitoring, so that you have extension you have added, it will show you the complete video itself. Now you might have seen that it might have got added in here itself. We'll see that once we have a session data. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so any questions how you can enable real user monitoring? Okay, so I will tell you what practice you have to do